These magic moments. All right. Neville Goddard. Your faith is your fortune. Chapter 6. I am he. For if ye believe not that I am, ye shall die in your sins. John 8:24. All things were made by him, and without him was not anything made that was made. This is a hard saying for those trained in the various systems of Orthodox religion to accept, but there it stands. All things good, bad, and indifferent were made by God. God made man, manifestation, in his own image. In the likeness of God made he him. Apparently, adding to this confusion, it is stated, and God saw this creation was good, and God saw that his creation was good. What are you going to do about this seeming anomaly? How is man going to correlate all things as good when that which he is taught denies this fact? Either the understanding of God is erroneous, or else there is something radically wrong with man's teaching. I would go the latter, of course. We're going to get into that. To the pure, all things are pure. This is another puzzling statement. All the good people, the pure people, the holy people are the greatest prohibitionists. Couple the foregoing statement with this one, there is no condemnation in Jesus Christ, and you get an impassable barrier to the self-appointed judges of the world. Such statements mean nothing to the self-righteous judges blindly changing and destroying shadows. Such statements mean nothing to the self-righteous judges blindly changing and destroying shadows. They continue in the firm belief that they are improving the world. Man, not knowing that his world is his individual consciousness outpictured, vainly strives to conform to the opinion of others rather than to conform to the one and only opinion existent, namely his own judgment of himself. All right. All that is, I am God. Right there. Man, not knowing that his world is his individual consciousness outpictured, his self-concept, his whole life, vainly strives to conform to the opinion of others. The opinion of others is out here. Rather than to conform to the one and only opinion existent, namely his own judgment of himself. I am is your source. I am he. So anything happening in your self-concept expressed in your reality is you. When you look for your source of anything, it's going to be within you. When you look outside of yourself for the correction or the understanding or the reality or how to change your reality or anything, if it's outside of you, it is the incorrect place to look. It's only within where you find the answers. When Jesus discovered his consciousness to be this wonderful law of self-government, he declared, "And now I sanctify myself that they also might be sanctified through the truth." He knew that consciousness was the only reality, that things objectified were nothing more than different states of consciousness. Different states of consciousness, things objectified. Any reality. Different states of consciousness. Here I am unwealthy. Here I am wealthy. Here I am not of health. Here I am of health. Each reality comes from the same source. He knew that consciousness was the only reality. Consciousness was the only reality. I am is the only reality. That things objectified were nothing more than different states of consciousness. Objectified. Things objectified. Objectified and objective and subjective. Subjective is your sleeping subconscious state. When you go into SATs and you're falling asleep, you're going into your you're going to make subjective your new reality. When you fall asleep, imagining yourself to be married, you're becoming subjective with that reality. And that reality it becomes reality in your subjective. When it's objectified, like your world, your reality of limitation, that's objectified already. But to make subjective is when you change it here subjectively. Then it objectifies. Okay? He knew that consciousness was the only reality, that things objectified were nothing more than different states of consciousness. All these are different states of consciousness. Here you're a millionaire, here you're a billionaire, here you're a trillionaire, and here you're a septillionaire, or whatever the next illionaire is. It's a way to get ill with the yenaires. So these, all of these are just states. They are not permanent realities. They are only different states of consciousness, which you have the freedom to travel through, like traveling through cities in your car. If you're zooming down the highway on the freeway, for instance, and you're passing different cities, and it says this city, this next 5 exits is this city here, and the next one says this is a similar thing, or you already know because you're from the area. But as you pass through those cities, it's like passing through states. When you leave that city, you're leaving a state. When you leave this state and you go to this state, I'm single, not happy, and I want to be married. And you go to this state, I am married, I'm happy, and I'm having a wonderful life. You don't care about this state. It's like passing through a city that you don't care about. You can pass through it, but you don't have to go back to it. As a matter of fact, when you're in this reality, this city doesn't exist anymore. You're in your new reality. That city has no meaning to you, has no reality to you. Jesus warned his followers to seek first the kingdom of heaven, in parentheses, that state of consciousness that would produce the thing desired, and all things would be added to them. Jesus warned his followers to seek first the kingdom of heaven. That is the kingdom of heaven. It's your I am. Jesus warned his followers Jesus warned his followers to seek first the kingdom of heaven, right here, and all things would be added to them. He also stated, I am the truth. I am the truth. He knew that man's consciousness was the truth or cause of all he knew that man's consciousness was the truth or cause of all that man saw his world to be. Jesus realized that the world was made in the likeness of man. He knew that man saw his world to be what it was because man was what he was. In short, man's conception of himself determines that which he sees his world to be. Any self-concept you have of yourself in your subjective state, when you're asleep, when you're falling asleep, is what your world is to be. It is what you objectify. It is what you manifest. It is your self-concept. Jesus realized that the world was made in the likeness of man. He knew that man saw his world to be what it was because man was what he was. In short, man's conception of himself determines that which he sees his world to be. All things are made by God, which is consciousness, in parentheses. All things are made by God, and without him there is nothing made that is made. Creation is judged good and very good because it is the perfect likeness of that consciousness which produced it. To be conscious of being one thing and then see yourself expressing something other than that which you are conscious of being is a violation of the law of being. Therefore, it would not be good. Let's repeat that. To be conscious of being one thing and then see yourself expressing something other than that which you are conscious of being is a violation of the law of being. Therefore, it would not be good. The law of being is never broken. Man ever sees himself expressing that which he is conscious of being. Be it good, bad, or indifferent, it is nevertheless a perfect likeness of his conception of himself. It is good and very good. In a sense, you have the freedom. You have the complete freedom to be anything. Any being you want to be, any conscious state you want to occupy, it is your freedom to be any of those. And they are only states, they're temporary. Not only are all things made by God, all things are made of God. All are the offspring of God. God is one. Things or divisions are the projections of the one. God being one, he must command himself to be the seeming other, for there is no other. God being one, he must command himself to be the seeming other, for there is no other. God being one, he must command himself to be the other, but it's all one. There is no other. The absolute cannot contain something within itself that is not itself. If it did, then it would not be absolute, the only one. Let me repeat that. The absolute cannot contain something within itself that is not itself. If it did, then it would not be absolute, the only one. Commands to be effective must be to oneself, I am that I am. Previous sentence. The absolute cannot contain something within itself that is not itself. The absolute cannot contain something that is not itself within itself. The change becomes in consciousness of yourself. Then you become the different conscious self. But it cannot contain, if your consciousness is here, I'm unhappy, I'm not married, I'm single, woe is me, for instance, with limitation, you cannot contain this because you're containing this. Your container is full. The absolute cannot contain something within itself that is not itself. If it did, then it would not be absolute, the only one. Commands to be effective must be to oneself, I am that. I am that I am. Is the only effective command. That is the only effective command. I am the Lord, and beside me there is no one else. I am the Lord, and beside me there is none else. Excuse me. You cannot command that which is not. As there is no other, you must command yourself to be that which you would have appear. As there is no other, you must command yourself to be that which you would have appear. As there is no other, you must command yourself to be that which you would have appear. You must command yourself to be, if you don't like this one of limitation, that which you would want to have appear. You must command, I am that. Let me clarify what I mean by effective command. You do not repeat like a parrot the statement, I am that I am, I am that I am, I am that I am. Such vain repetition would be both stupid and fruitless. It is not the words that make it effective. It is the consciousness of being the thing which makes it effective. It's feeling it. When you say, I am, you are declaring yourself to be. It's back to the breathing and the meditation. I am, after you're taking your deep breaths. You've disentangled yourself from the world. Then you're breathing. You're slowing yourself down. You're slowing your heart rate down. Then you're meditating on I am. I am. You are, when you say I am, you are declaring yourself to be. And you're also disentangling yourself from that self-concept and becoming back. You're back home. When you're in meditation of I am, or you're just thinking I am or stating I am, you're back home. That's your home base. The word that in the statement I am that I am indicates that which you would be. The second I am in the quotation is the cry of victory. I am that I am. It's a very, very interesting breakdown, and I want to repeat it. When you say I am, you are declaring yourself to be. That's your first I am. You've declared. The word that in the statement, I am that I am, indicates that which you would be. I am that. The second I am in the quotation is the cry of victory. Here's you. I am that. I am. The cry of victory, one of limitation. You're single, you want to be married, and you're falling asleep in your sats, and you're seeing yourself happily married. You're seeing the ring on your finger. You're feeling like you're spooning. You're feeling happy with your partner. And you declare as you fall asleep and when you wake up, I am that pictured item you married. I am. That's the victory, the cry of victory. Lovely breakdown. This whole drama takes place inwardly, with or without the use of words. But be still and know that you are. This stillness is attained by observing the observer. Repeat quietly but with feeling, I am. I am. Until you have lost all consciousness of the world and know yourself just as being. Awareness, the knowing that you are, is Almighty God. I am. After this is accomplished, define yourself as that which you desire to be by feeling yourself to be the thing desired. I am that. I am happily married. This understanding that you are the thing desired will cause a thrill to course through your entire being. I am happily married. And there comes the thrill, the joy, the feeling of being it. When the conviction is established and you really believe that you are that which you desired to be, then the second I am is uttered as a cry of victory. I am that. I am. I am happily married. I am. Okay? This mystical revelation of Moses can be seen as three different steps. I am free, I really am. It does not matter what the appearances round about you are like. All things make way for the coming of the Lord. I am the Lord coming in the appearance of that which I am conscious of being. Wonderful sentence. I am the Lord coming in the appearance of that which I am conscious of being. I am here with limitation and I am conscious of being here. Okay? I am the Lord back here coming in the appearance that of that which I am conscious of being. I am the Lord coming in with the conscious of being, with the appearance of the conscious of being. I am the Lord coming in the appearance of that which I am conscious of being. All the inhabitants of the earth cannot stay my coming or question my authority to be that which I am conscious that I am. All the inhabitants of the earth cannot stay my coming or question my authority to be that which I am conscious that I am. I am the light of the world, crystallizing into the form of my conception of myself. I am the light of the world, crystallizing into the form of my conception of myself. Consciousness is the eternal light which crystallizes only through the medium of your conception of yourself. Boy, these sentences are rich. Consciousness consciousness is the eternal light which crystallizes only through the medium of your conception of yourself. Consciousness is the eternal light which crystallizes only through the medium of your conception of yourself. Consciousness. So you change this self-concept into this self-conscious, and consciousness goes to where you put your attention, as we said before. Change your conception of yourself, and you will automatically change the world in which you live. Do not try to change people. They are only messengers telling you who you are. This is where we cross into everyone is you pushed out. Okay? Everything is you pushed out. Everyone is you pushed out. Do not try to change people. They are only messengers telling you who you are. Revalue yourself and they will confirm the change. Revalue yourself and they will confirm the change. You don't want to go into a relationship, or at least I highly recommend against it. If you are wanting to be happily married and you're not happily single, you want to be happily married, not to change anybody, but to be that person you want to be. You want to be that happily married. You're not coming into this new consciousness to try and change others. If you do, you're going to find it's not going to be a fruitful road. Now, you will realize why Jesus sanctified himself instead of others. Why to the pure all things are pure. Why in Christ Jesus, the awakened consciousness, there is no condemnation. Awake from the sleep of condemnation and prove the principle of life. Awake from the sleep of condemnation and prove the principle of life. Stop not only your judgment of others, but your condemnation of yourself. I'm finishing 3 years of very intense study of Neville, and of course the previous 31 years approximately was focused on the Seth material and other metaphysical studies like numerology, etc. And then I came across Ho'oponopono, which is a wonderful study. Can't recommend it enough. But it was after about the first, I don't know, 9 months to a year of very intensely studying the Neville Goddard material, I lost complete the vision of others. I mean, I used to have a prejudicial attitude within myself, and I knew it was there. But after some time with the Neville material, this unfoldment, I started to really see us all as brothers and sisters, and I mean that literally. And it didn't matter where you're from or what country you're from or anything like that. It just all of a sudden became an appreciation and a loving feeling for all others. Every one of us, I just see as complete brothers and sisters. And I also see them as another form, just doing for the source. You are doing your thing. I'm doing my thing. She is doing her thing, etc., etc. When you start to get that appreciation, you start to really unfold what he's saying right here. Now you will realize that Jesus sanctified himself instead of others. Why to the pure all things are pure? Why in Christ Jesus there is no condemnation? You go without judgment. Awake from the sleep of condemnation and prove the principle of life. Stop not only your judgment of others, but your condemnation of yourself. And that's another big hurdle as well. I mean, the hurdle of judging others is one to overcome for sure. And I really felt that in that first year, a complete stopping of division of self. And this appreciation started to grow towards me. After I felt it on the outside, I knew it was happening within me, but after I felt it was out there, I knew the focus was really going to be coming home, and it did. It was actually already on me, but I thought the illusion of out there was what I was changing. But so it again, I don't know if heard the story when you point a finger, you have one pointing at the other and three pointing back at yourself, right? And one's pointing towards God. Is that how that works? I've heard it different ways. Stop not only your judgment of others, but your condemnation of yourself. This condemnation of yourself is a big challenge, or can be, depending on how you received your training in life, how you were brought up, etc. If there's been, and religions can also play a role here, the condemnation of self. Wherever you might have gotten it, if you do have it, it is also something to grapple with and overcome. But I think, in my experience of all these different metaphysical subjects I've studied, I think the Neville material really lays out a very decent path to overcome the condemnation of self and also become very, very loving of others, which is also a reflection of yourself. Remember, three fingers pointing back at you. Hear the revelation of the enlightened. I know and am persuaded by the Lord Christ Jesus that there is nothing unclean of itself, but to him that seeth anything to be unclean, to him it is unclean. I know and am persuaded by the Lord Christ Jesus that there is nothing unclean of itself, but to him that seeth anything to be unclean, to him it is unclean. And again, happy is the man who condemneth himself not in that which he alloweth. Stop asking yourself whether or not you are worthy or unworthy to claim yourself to be that which you desire to be. You will be condemned by the world only as long as you condemn yourself. There it is. Everything is you pushed out. You will be condemned by the world only as long as you condemn yourself. Previous sentence, stop asking yourself whether or not you are worthy or unworthy to claim yourself to be that which you desire to be. Stop asking yourself whether or not you are worthy to be that which you claim yourself to be. I am that. I am not happily married here. I'm with limitation and relationship troubles and problems, but I am that. I saw in a movie a couple weeks ago, and it's such a good quote, and I just can't remember the movie, but the one person was, I think that it was a crime or somebody was dying, I believe, and the person in his death moments of this character was saying to the other character, maybe it was a relative or a daughter or son, God doesn't care who you were. God only cares who you are. Another statement, and I thought the whole movie had to be made just for that one line. Whoever put that in the script, because it was so powerful. And if you could think about that, it really is a great reminder. God doesn't care who you were. He only cares who you are. Okay. God, I am all that is. Let's don't get caught up in the words here. Doesn't care who you were. I am that I am. He will give the power and the energy and the attention to what you claim, what you decree. He is there for you because you haven't ignored him. You've acknowledged him by saying, I am. All you have to say is, I am. He doesn't care where you were. It doesn't matter. This is ancient dust. Forget it. I am that. I'm not happily married. I am happily married. I am that. I am. He doesn't care where you were. He cares where you are. When I saw that in the movie, I had to pause it for a second. I just said, "Oh man, that's so good." So many great reminders. And whoever wrote that script definitely slid that one in there, and it was a good one. It was a really good one. You do not need to work out anything. The works are finished. Remember, all creations are finished. All of God's creations are finished. The principle by which all things are made and without which there is not anything made is eternal. Excuse me, let me repeat that. The principle by which all things are made and without which there is not anything made that is made is eternal. You are this principle. Your awareness of being is this everlasting law. Your awareness of being is this everlasting law. Your awareness of being is this everlasting law. You have never expressed anything that you were not aware of being, and you never will. Oh, good golly, that's a bomb. You have never expressed anything that you were not aware of being, and you never will. Even in, let's say, your lack of happiness, your lack of whatever, your lack of finance, or your lack of love, or your lack of health, is only expressed because of your awareness of it. You have never expressed anything that you were not aware of being, and you never will. What you're aware of being is what you become. And you have the connection to it all the time. Anytime you stop, be still and know that I am God. Be still and know that I am God. Right now is your new beginning. You have access continuously to your new beginning. I am that I am. Assume the consciousness of that which you desire to express. Claim it until it becomes a natural manifestation. Feel it and live within that feeling until you make it your nature. It basically becomes your home. Here is a simple formula. Neville's going to give us a formula. Ears up. Take your attention from your present conception of yourself and place it on that ideal of yours. The ideal you had heretofore thought beyond your reach. Claim yourself to be your ideal, not as something that you will be in time, but as that which you are in the immediate present. Do this, and your present world of limitations will disintegrate as your new claim rises like the phoenix from its ashes. Claim yourself to be your ideal, not as something that you will be in time, but as that which you are in the immediate present. Do this, and your present world of limitations will disintegrate as your new claim rises like the phoenix from its ashes. In a troubled relationship, I have to tell you a personal story here. Before, when I was trying to figure out relationship, when I was here, but I was definitely claiming this, I would have a situation where fights would happen. I would come home to my apartment from her apartment where it was a fight. It was just discord. It was unharmonious. And I would come home and I would just I would stop and I remember I used to go to the stairs where my apartment was, and there were steps up to this roof. And I used to go to those steps, and I would one time I remember the specific moment. I was staring at this single light pole, and I was just imagining myself because I was just relaxing there, just imagining myself. I wasn't that single light pole, but I was a pair with the light pole. I don't know how to describe this except to say that even though I knew deeply that this relationship I was in wasn't happening, I knew I was going to be in a harmonious relationship. I claimed it, and I was just staring at this light, just reminding myself. And I could have been reminding myself from right here. I'm going to get into a lesson later about how all time exists in one moment, and how sometimes you're taking a reflection from your future self to remind yourself in the past. Maybe that's what I'm doing right now. At the same time, I'm explaining to you that self was taking a reminder from maybe this self that it is okay to be going through the furnaces of affliction here, because I claimed this. I knew this. I was this. But the furnaces of affliction were still upon me. And I only had to remind myself, it's okay. You're getting through this because you are over here already. This time we gotta cover the time video. I want to get to this book too, but there's so many videos to make, so many good gems to share. Be not afraid or dismayed by reason of this great multitude, for the battle is not yours, but God's. You do not fight against your problem. Your problem will only live as long as you are conscious of it. Isn't that the truth? Your problem will only live as long as you are conscious of it. Take your attention away from your problem and the multitude of reasons why you cannot achieve your ideal. Concentrate your attention entirely upon the thing desired. Concentrate your attention entirely upon the thing desired. There's so many examples of that. I mean, I'm using relationship right now, but there's, I mean, it's you use your intuition. You have what Neville's saying right here in your mind. Go with that. Whatever you know, and you've done it in the past. Whatever you know now, as you heard that sentence, go with that. Concentrate your attention entirely upon the thing desired. What is it you are desirous of? Take your attention away from your problem and the multitude of reasons why you cannot achieve your ideal. Forget about the giants. You're not a grasshopper compared to the giants. The giants are not giants. You've made them into giants. You are the giant now when you concentrate your attention upon the thing desired. Leave all and follow me. Leave all, again, and follow me. Leave all and follow me. I am. Leave all, follow me. Where are you following me to? To the conscious thing you desire, to the new conscious state. Leave all and follow me. In the face of seemingly mountainous obstacles, claim your freedom. The consciousness of freedom is the father of freedom. It has a way of expressing itself which no man knows. Ye shall not need to fight in this battle. Set yourself, stand still, and see the salvation of the Lord with you. Set yourself, stand still, stand still, and see the salvation of the Lord within you. There's a lot of S's in that. Set yourself, stand still, set yourself, stand still, and see the salvation of the Lord within you. Remember that in the last one where we're spiraling? I am the Lord. I am, which is your consciousness, is the Lord. The consciousness that the thing is done, that the work is finished, is the Lord of any situation. Oh, love that. The consciousness that the thing is done, that the work is finished, is the Lord of any situation. Listen carefully to the promise. Ye shall not need to fight in this battle. Set yourself, stand still, and see the salvation of the Lord within you. With you. With you. This particular consciousness, that which you are identified, is the Lord of the agreement. He will, without assistance, establish the thing agreed upon on earth. He will, without assistance, establish the thing agreed upon on earth. He will. Can you, in the face of the army of reasons why a thing cannot be done, quietly enter into an agreement with the Lord that it is done? What a sentence. This is a great question for you to answer right now. Can you, in the face of the army of reasons why a thing cannot be done, quietly enter into an agreement with the Lord that it is done? All that simply means is to stop and imagine. Be still and know that I am God. Let me imagine my new happily married self in harmony, coming home from our honeymoon. Yes, I can imagine that. I am that. Remember, go to the end. We're going to get into that, of course, throughout the material. Can you, now that you have found the Lord to be your awareness of being, become aware of that that the battle is won? Excuse me. Can you, now that you have found the Lord to be your awareness of being, become aware that the battle is won? Can you, no matter how near and threatening the enemy seems to be, continue in your confidence, standing still, knowing that the victory is yours? If you, excuse me, I'm racing through the sentence. Can you, so such good material. Can you, no matter how near and threatening that the enemy seems to be, continue in your confidence, standing still, knowing that the victory is yours? If you can, you will see the salvation of the Lord. You will bring order to your chaos. You will do that. Remember, the reward is to the one who endures. Remember, the reward is to the one who endures. Stand still. Standing still is the deep conviction that all is well, it is done. No matter what is heard or seen, you remain unmoved, conscious of being victorious in the end. All things are made by such agreements. And without such an agreement, there is not anything made that is made. I am that. I am. In Revelations, it is recorded that a new heaven and new earth shall appear. John, shown this vision, was told to write, "It is done." Heaven is your consciousness, and the earth is its solidified state. Therefore, accept as did John, it is done. It's back to the story of Neville going to Barbados when Abdullah told him, "You are in Barbados." This is the first lesson, a side tangent, when Neville met Abdullah, his teacher, in approximately 1933, I believe. And Abdullah became his teacher for the next 5 years. Abdullah taught Neville a very important lesson when Neville wanted to go visit Barbados to see his family and his parents. Abdullah told Neville, "You want to be in Barbados? You are in Barbados." And in a sense, Abdullah was self-persuaded and claimed it within himself. He imagined lovingly for Neville and told him, "You are in Barbados." And Neville, after a little bit of a story here we're going to get into later, had to go and although in New York, he had to go and convince himself while he was sleeping that he was actually in Barbados. And when he walked out of his apartment in New York City, he had to see the streets, the canyons of the buildings. He had to see those as the streets in Barbados where his family lives. And he did this. And eventually, against all odds, he was able to attain a ticket to sail to Barbados. Back then, it was just steamships. And the whole convincing statement of Abdullah to Neville, "It is done, you are in Barbados," is when you become self-persuaded. Abdullah became self-persuaded, then Neville took on the persuasion slowly. This is his first lesson with this material, with this what he's eventually taught us. All that is required of you who seek a change is to rise to a level of that which you desire. Rise to a level. You're always going to be ascending. That's one of the laws here. You're consistently going to ascend. You're always going to rise. All that is required of you who seek a change is to rise to a level of that which you desire without dwelling upon the manner of expression. Record, record that it is done by feeling the naturalness of being it. Don't worry about the how. Never be concerned about the how. If you're going from I am without finance, I am wealthy. You don't and never should be concerned about the how. It isn't about which job or what amount of hours you can go do anything. You are only concerned about the I am that, because never to be concerned about the how. Never, ever, ever. And this is where he says it, without dwelling upon the manner of expression. Don't be concerned. Record that it is done by feeling the naturalness of being it. Here is an analogy that might help you to see this mystery. Suppose you entered a motion picture theater just as the feature came to its end. All that you saw of the picture was the happy ending. Because you wanted to see the entire story, you waited for it to unfold again. With the anticlimactic sequence, the hero is displayed as accused, surrounded by false evidence, and all that goes to wring tears from the audience. But you, secure in the knowledge of the ending, remain calm with the understanding that, regardless of the seeming direction of the picture, the end has already been defined. Excuse me for jumping the gun here about going to the end, but there it is. In like manner, go to the end of that which you seek. Witness the happy end of it by consciously feeling. You express and presents, in like manner, go to the end of that which you seek. Witness the happy end of it by consciously feeling. You express and possess that which you desire to express and possess. And you, through faith, already understanding the end, will have confidence born of this knowledge. It's a very tricky sentence. I'm going to go ahead and try it one more time. Third time's a charm. In like manner, go to the end of that which you seek. Witness the happy end of it by consciously feeling. You express and possess that which you desire to express and possess. And you, through faith, already understanding the end, will have confidence born of this knowledge. This knowledge will sustain you through the necessary interval of time that it takes the picture to unfold. Ask no help of man. Feel it is done by consciously claiming yourself to be now that which, as man, you hope to be. Ask no help of man. Feel it is done by consciously claiming yourself to be now that which, as man, you hope to be. Man, oh man. That is a wonderful, wonderful chapter. I am he. There's so many gems in this one place. I'm telling you, gold, diamonds, wonder, amazement. There's so many good things in this one chapter. I don't want to make this video too long. We're already getting there. But if you're going to the end, if you're happily married, I am that I am, and you're not married here and you want to be married, and you're at the concept in here of I want to be in a harmonious, happy, loving relationship, then you go to the end. You go to the place when you're arriving home from the airport, having been on your lovely 2-week honeymoon. Where did you have your honeymoon? You came back from Hawaii, let's say, for fun. You don't be, there's no concern about vacation days. There's no concern about finances. There's no concern about anything except imagining your feeling of walking in the door, hugging your new partner, and feeling happy that you're home and you just had your 2 weeks. That's going to the end. It is loading in. You're at the assumption where you've loaded in all that's happened already. You got married in Hawaii. You stayed in Hawaii for your honeymoon. Now you're home. You have no concern about the how. Your only concern is the end. After. You want to go to the end because it presupposes everything. The entire assumption is built in to when you walked into the house. It's like the parking spot I mentioned before. When you imagine yourself on the curb, looking back at the car in the spot, and then you get down there and that spot is open for you, or one like it, and you're looking at the car parked exactly where you assumed it was going to be parked, you went to the end. You weren't concerned about, oh, well, I wonder if this is going to be a spot or that's going to be. No, you were already on the curb looking back at the car. So again, you're walking in your house after the honeymoon. This is going to the end. Ask no help of man, feel it is done. Be by consciously claiming yourself to be now that which as man you hope to be. Very wonderful chapter. That's it for today. We'll see you in the next video.